Hi, furries.
Hi, guys.
So today we want to continue our series on
Furry
your
stuff.
kid
Kids
is
are
a furry. Congratulations.
Congrats.
And getting into starting to create your own fur paws or whatever it is that you want to make. So we had a lot of great feedback from our last video talking about getting started when we did our field trip to the fabric store, which we have found we are super lucky.
Yeah, apparently not everybody has the selection of furs that we have. Yay.
Yes, and we actually
Glasses are crooked.
we picked out some, what's that called? The webbing, nylon webbing, because we're going to do a tutorial on making collars because my son has really perfected making collars. They're really cool, so I'm gonna, he doesn't know. We are going to share his collar making pattern because it's really good and he's made some super cute collars. It just so happens that that my son is homesick today, and we're going to interview him on off camera. Sick bucket right next to us, but we're going to take advantage of that because we're caring moms. That's what we do.
For sure.
So he had a lot of feedback about that video, about getting started making things, and it was good feedback because things that we just didn't know because we haven't personally done it. Right. So we thought that this would be a good opportunity to talk about some of those tips that he mentioned, and he can actually even show a few of the tools that he has found helpful. Sound good?
Sounds great to me.
Okay, so the first one, and I know that you've mentioned this one.
Well, I just have strong feelings about shopping local.
We believe in shopping local, but we just wanted to reinforce, don't go to Joann or Michael's for your fur.
Because you're just going to get that party fur stuff, and it's not that good. It's, like, bad. You can, like, shop at those stores, because I don't hate all stores that aren't local, but...
Nor do we.
Nor do we.
But, you can get, like, minky there if you want minky, or, like, cotton fabrics, or, like, sewing notions.
Your
it's
notions,
not the fake fur, because that's going to be not that good.
Notions is a great point, because if you break a needle and that was your last one, then, yeah, go to Joann.
Yeah. Right. Or, do you use zippers in fursuits?
Typically, yeah.
So things like that, I mean, you could get at
and
Joann's.
Also, sewing needles.
Good
You should get ballpoint. You should get heavier duty ballpoint needles, I think. You can look up online exactly what needles you need. I don't really know, but stronger ballpoints are what you're supposed to use, so then they won't break. And ballpoint needles go in between the weaves of fabric, so it also won't mess up your fabric.
Yeah, I believe one of the great things about ballpoint needles is they don't snag as much, so you're not going to skip stitches, which could open up, and then you don't want your arm to start opening up, for instance.
Right.
Oh, and also for lining things, make sure you get 4-way stretch fabric, or else I've experienced the failures of 2-way stretch fabric.
I am really glad you brought that up, kid, because you also mentioned that fur can sometimes have a stretch in one direction, and so...
Yeah, it does have a stretch, and it also has the direction the fur lays. And so it would look really bad if the fur is going... If your seams, the fur doesn't match up in the same direction. And, like, also, you can look up online the way that the fur naturally goes on a normal animal. For example, on the ears, it goes up, even though that's not what you might initially think. It goes up, usually, and I think for most places, it just goes, like, away from the heart.
Okay.
Or, like, away from the center, really.
That makes sense.
Away from the center.
I know,
So that's
on
the direction
arms,
of
it
your
goes
fur,
down.
always away from the center.
Not always,
Or
but that's what I'm...
Generalizing.
The general rule of thumb.
Head goes up into your ears.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Legs, I think. I don't know how it goes on your torso.
Okay, so that is good advice and something that we wouldn't know because we haven't tried it. So, for instance, if you're laying out your pattern, you want to be mindful of any stretch and the direction that the fur is laying. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about not going to Joann, and if you don't have a super awesome, amazingly cool local fabric store, where...
I do.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Where would you go to get some fabric?
Well, there's like
fur, sorry.
I mean, furs. That
That Zelda, man. Now she just wants to be a star.
She just wants to be part of this.
Joshua.
well, you're gonna cut.
It's
that
hard to homeschool. It really is, especially when you need to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
out. There's a website. I forgot if it's fursuitsupplies.com or fursuitsuppliers.com. I feel more powerful with these.
He's
like-
holding weapons.
Oh yeah, and for cutting fur, you should
What's
use.
weapons of mass creation?
Yeah.
Can we demonstrate here, Joelle? You have that
Oh,
one.
hold this.
That way we'll both feel
Lovely.
powerful.
Lovely.
I have scissors.
See our lovely
Don't
tools.
use these.
So these are regular old cheapo scissors. These are great for cutting patterns or your duct tape,
Or your like minky.
minky, or lining material.
But not your fur.
Don't
Not
cut
your
your
fur.
fur with it, dudes. Or else
So-
you get stabbed. Give me my toys.
Okay, so you can demonstrate how you hold it. Put your little hand in here.
Like you just like draw on the fabric.
Like with a pen?
That's how it feels.
Okay.
And also, sometimes when you change the blade, you'll notice, oh man, this cuts a lot easier. So change your blade.
Change your blades often.
Often make sure it's sharp.
I don't do that, but I know I probably should.
Great call. So should you cut from the fur side or the back side?
The back side, you're trying not to cut the fur. And it's been online. I saw someone say that you should cut it on carpet, so you don't like do the thing. But I am lazy and tired. But you shouldn't cut it on your rotary mat, because if you start cutting that, then that's not good. Because rotary mats are for the rotary cutters. If this pokes through on the rotary mat, that'll make you sad.
It'll
So you might
tear
want
it
to
up.
put it on top of a carpet or cardboard, something, so you won't. Don't do it on top of your nice table. Don't do it on top of your nice rotary mat.
Oh, as moms, I think we appreciate that.
Yeah. So basically make sure that because you're going to cut all the way through and you want to make sure that what's underneath you can damage. Or
what
is it
you're
also the
supposed to do
give
is,
for the
like,
fur?
If like when you feel on a piece of paper, okay, there would be fur on the back side, and you would just be cutting like this.
Right.
And you're not trying to cut the fur, but that's probably gonna happen anyway.
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah. But it's less than with scissors.
Yes.
And it's less uneven. It's more even than if you cut it with scissors.
Right.
Yeah, I would think because you're gonna cut.
Yeah.
You're gonna cut the pile short.
This is just from Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree,
Yeah.
only the finest. And I think this is from.
Target. Fancy,
Yeah.
fancy. It's
Target.
got extra blades in the back.
It's a fancy X-Acto knife
So you don't have to spend a ton of money.
on specialty
Yeah, this
tools,
is
right?
This
Right.
is probably no more than $10.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so I think the last thing that we were going to talk about is just a pile.
Oh yeah, pile length. So
Is it like carpet pile?
probably I don't know about carpet stuff. When am I using mothers?
So explain the fur pile.
There's the
Is
fur.
that different from a furry pile?
I think it is.
It is. Sorry.
There's no tools.
Well,
Whatever. So, pile of fur.
So there's short pile and long pile, and so on our hand paws, we used short pile for the fingers and long pile for the rest of it because it was the same color because we were doing white, and of course it's not an exact match. That's why you should do it where if you're gonna switch between the two piles, you should switch where it doesn't matter if it's an exact match. Because one of the whites was more creamier, the other was more Arctic white. You know, and so if you were doing hands, if we're doing the hand, main part of the hand is blue, and then this part is short pile. You could use a different. It would be fine if you had a slightly different shade of white on your fingers and your chest.
It wouldn't be as
Because
noticeable.
it wouldn't,
Right.
unless,
Well, that makes sense.
It does.
because not every color is going to be the same, especially from different people, different sellers.
Oh yeah, just like wallpaper or paint, just different lots or different.
Yeah, different.
The dyes are different, just shades or
Yeah.
minuscule
So you
difference.
should try and buy all your fur at once,
From
as in all of one color. You
Right.
can buy your pink and your black fur at different times because it doesn't matter. if they're the same, because they're not going to be the same. They're different colors. Wow.
Right.
Awesome.
But short pile, you don't have to trim it. And my friend has said that trimming fur is terrible and not fun.
I've seen some of the destruction caused by attempting to trim fur, shaving. I've seen some things, so I get that.
I've seen
you
some
use,
things.
you use the like dog trimmer.
Yeah, like
zoom.
clippers. Yeah.
Oh.
But although you can cut it with scissors,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to do that.
Just have to be
Just
careful.
for the main part.
So short pile and long pile are exactly what you would consider. Like short pile is a shorter length fur, and a long pile is a longer. Okay.
Gotcha. And then the last thing, we didn't write it down, but I thought we should mention because fur is expensive. So when you're laying out your
Like
pattern,
$30 a yard.
yeah, it's expensive.
Very.
So when you lay out your pattern, your pieces, this may seem obvious, but not everybody does this. So
Are you saying to cut it conservatively?
cut it, yeah,
Close.
cut your pieces, put your pattern pieces as close together as possible. Do you love my drawing? Rather than this,
Very artistic.
because this could be $3 worth of fur right here.
Right.
You don't want to waste it.
And also, like, I typically, because when I was younger, I sew.
Back in the good old days.
When I was
Way back then.
younger, like, my mother is very conservative with her amount of fabric she uses.
Yes.
Yeah. And so am I. So that's how
I know. I love that about you.
So, like, if you know your fur goes in this direction, okay, if it goes down, I can't draw good. Okay, your fur is going down, and then if you have a triangle piece that
Feeling
needs
timber.
to go
Sorry.
in one direction, you don't have to exactly match the directions, basically. So, if you had another triangle piece like that needs to go in the same direction but only two, I'd probably just do it like this and have this be.
Oh.
He's a clever boy.
And also, it's really hard to like get a perfect shape if you're going around. If you're putting things close together and they're not touching, so then you just cry.
Then you just cry.
And that's
all.
unfortunate. We don't want that. The fandom should be fun.
Oh, and also for marking fur, don't use Sharpies. If it bleeds through, you'll die. It'd be sad, and you get sweaty in those things. So it'll probably bleed through. You should either use one of those some sort of water soluble marking thing that's like made for normal sewing.
Mm-hmm.
I have this fancy set of chalk marking things because I wanted it, and I was tired of because it works better. It's really hard to draw with markers on the back of the fur. So if you have the money, I would suggest investing in
The
those
chalk markers.
Yeah.
And what is your take on the Frixion markers? Pens.
Well, it would just be harder to heat, and Nyx has said that they've bled a little, so I might not want to use those again.
Fair enough. Okay.
And also, those are probably going to be hard to mark.
So chalk markers, and actually then you can just brush it off. So, anything we missed?
I don't think so.
Do you think we missed anything, kid?
What about patterns?
Oh, pattern. I think we're running long, so we'll talk about patterns in another one.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. And you mentioned a site for luxury fur.
Yeah, they also have like seal, like seals, that kind of fur. It's cool, and they have other stuff too, but mostly fur.
So we'll put that in the comments.
Yeah, we'll put
We're
the
going to
link
verify that we have the right address, and we'll put that in the comments. But a great place to get fur, and they will send samples.
Yay. I love samples.
Me too. All right, guys. Have a great day, and stay furtastic.
Bye.